What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, the Super Bowl is over and at least the better team won. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Buffalo Bills, but there's always next season. Anyhow, thanks for joining me for today's video. I've got a good one for you guys today. This is a guitar that I thought I would probably never ever in my life want to check out, but you know, times are changing and I'm always open to new stuff to check it out just to see if it's something I might like. You know, I hate to have kind of a negative connotation about something that I've never actually tried myself. So today we're checking out the PRS, which you've already seen the thumbnail. This is the PRS SE Custom 24 Semi-Hollow Piezo. Yes, it's a really long name. Thank you, PRS. Upon first inspection, you can tell there's a couple of differences from the regular SE Custom line it's born from. This has an F-hole here. That's the semi-hollow. The top part of this guitar is actually hollow, and that kind of helps the guitar to resonate differently when you're using the acoustic piezo system. Now, if you're not familiar with a piezo pickup, essentially it's a pickup system that makes your electric guitar sound like an acoustic guitar. So essentially this guitar can sound both electric or acoustic or a mix of both, which is really cool. The pickups on this guitar, the humbuckers, are the exact same ones that they put in the regular SE Custom line. And you've got a master volume, master tone, three-way selector switch, and then you've got this additional volume knob here for the piezo system. Now the piezo pickup it's in the bridge or it's underneath the bridge. I don't really know how they accommodate it on the guitar, but it's in there somehow. You have the ability to blend these two volume knobs any way you want to kind of get any, you know, tailor the tone any way you want. So you can feed in a little bit of acoustic or a little bit of the regular humbuckers with the acoustic system. Any way you want to mix and match it, this thing does it all. There are two different jacks on this guitar. If I can get a close up of that, there we go. So the one jack that's labeled mag is just for your magnetic humbuckers. That's just your regular jack like you would have in any other guitar. The other one that says mix piezo obviously is the one that you can use both, either or, mix and match however you want. Or if you want, you can run both of these out in parallel to different, you know, outputs. So you could have one go to your PA system, one go to your on-stage rig, or you can run two different amplifiers and two different speaker cabinets on stage, however you want to do it. So there's a lot of tonal options with this guitar. Now, first off, I will say this. This guitar is probably for somebody who wants something to gig with, but they just want to bring, you know, just the one guitar, keep their rig light, travel light. It's, you know, the portability is nice because you only have one guitar to worry about, so you kind of can do everything you want to. If you're somebody who plays, let's say, weekend gigs or bar gigs, that kind of thing, and you play a lot of pop music or retro stuff as well as hard rock, classic rock, you know, you mix up your whole set list, this guitar would certainly get you by because it's got a lot of different sounds coming out of this one instrument, which is really cool. Now this guitar is really beautiful. It's got a lot of the same specs and dimensions as a regular SE Custom line, but we'll go over it briefly for you in case you haven't seen these before. First off, we've got a mahogany body with that beautiful black lacquer finish on the back, and the neck is a maple neck with the exact same finish. The neck, they don't specify on the website how many pieces the neck is made out of that just says something like it's multi-layered. So I don't know exactly what that means, but take it for what it's worth. The front of the body, the top is a maple top, and then there is a maple, flame maple veneer on top of that. So in this price range from PRS, you're not getting the thicker solid top, you're getting the veneer on top of it. That's okay, it's got a nice look to it, and what kind of a sonic difference does it really make? I'm not here to argue that point. This guitar sounds pretty decent to me. So the neck is 24 frets. This is PRS's typical 25-inch scale length, which is a little bit shorter than your typical Fender scale lengths, so you can run a little bit heavier strings if you want to. I've got 10 to 46s on here, and they feel pretty good. I've got it in drop D currently, and it plays well. It's got nice string tension. Bendability is there. And then of course you've got the 6-point trem system here, which seems to float pretty well, seems to move nicely and stays in tune pretty well. I haven't gone crazy with it, but I do have a gripe about the trem arm itself. The arm, which I've mentioned this in my previous video, it just feels kind of flimsy and cheap. The metal itself, the finish on it isn't very shiny, it's not very smooth. I feel like it could just have been stainless steel. And then the little plastic knob, the little plastic end piece here, you can feel the mold where the two halves were connected. So overall, that trem arm just feels flimsy and cheap. I don't really know why they kind of cheap out on the one part when everything else seems to feel a little bit more premium and a little bit more well built. It just seems like it was an afterthought. They're like, oh, just get some cheap, piece of metal and stick it in there for the trem arm. I don't really get that, but then, I don't work for the company. I just want to say this as an aside. I think people's perceptions of what a lot of YouTubers discuss on the products, they kind of only discuss the good stuff. So I kind of want to give you my complete and honest opinion. I'm not sponsored by anybody. They don't know I exist. PRS doesn't know I have this guitar in my possession. It's on loan from Zounds, so I have this temporarily in my possession to kind of check it out for you guys. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's things I like and some things that I don't care for. And one of the things I don't care for is this kind of flimsy tremolo arm. It just feels very cheap to me. Also, I'm not really sure why any company is still doing a 6-point trem, because anytime you've got a situation where there's more points of friction, I just feel like, that's more higher risk of having a guitar that won't stay completely perfectly in tune when you utilize the trem. I'd rather see a 2-point system here, so I'm not really sure why they haven't kind of upgraded to that type of build, but what have you, it has a more traditional look, I guess. Maybe that's what they're going for. This is a regular nut. It's not a Graphtec nut. You could change it out for 15 to 20 bucks if you want to, if that's something you care to do. I generally like to have a Graphtec nut in pretty much every guitar that's not a locking nut, because the strings will just slide through it a little better. They'll have a little less friction because of the way that's manufactured. You've got PRS's regular tuning machines. They're not locking tuners. It's not a big deal for me. I don't really mind, but I do prefer the locking tuners because quicker string changes. Otherwise, this guitar is very comfortable to hold and play. Okay, now let's talk about the neck. So the profile for this neck is PRS's wide, thin neck. And I've said this before, it feels a little wider than normal for me. I'm more used to the Fender neck and Ibanez neck, Schecter, those kind of necks. Whereas this PRS, and also I would probably say Gibson necks, just feel a little wider. And I don't know if it's to accommodate the binding or it's just the way they make them, but they just feel just ever so slightly wider than a regular neck. I don't prefer that, but that's just me. As far as the thin is concerned, this guitar neck is not very thin. I guess it's thinner than some, so it leads me to wonder, what does the regular PRS, the non-thin neck, feel like? That probably feels like a baseball bat. I don't know. I haven't checked that out myself, but this is plenty thick enough for me and probably a little thicker than I prefer. But, overall, I will say the neck is very comfortable. It's just not my top choice as a neck profile personally. I'm somebody who likes to move around the neck a lot, extreme motions up and down and all across the fingerboard as well as I can. And I just feel that doesn't help to facilitate that fast movements because it's a little bit chunkier and I don't have the biggest hands. Also, the neck is that lacquered finish like the rest of the body. And while that looks cool and it's shiny and all that stuff, it's not very practical for somebody who, you don't want to get stuck on the neck, especially if you're somebody who perspires and gets sweaty hands. You're liable to get stuck in it, at just the wrong moment when you're trying to move to a different position on the neck, and it just kind of hinders that a little bit. So that's not my favorite type of thing. I'd rather have an unfinished neck. I've said it before, so I won't dwell on it too much, but not my favorite thing. There's no volute here. You've got the typical PRS angled headstock. You know, otherwise it's a typical PRS. You've got the set neck, the 25-inch scale length. This thing feels and plays really well. You know, you don't have the stainless steel frets. I prefer that too. Not a big deal. Let's also check out the demo track first, because I want you to see me putting it through its paces, and you can tell what it really sounds like, and judge for yourself. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like this guitar? Do you think there is a place in the guitar world for this kind of acoustic electric thing, or do you think it's kind of passe, or it's just kind of old school and boring? Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's check out that demo track now. Now for my final thoughts on this guitar. I think if you're somebody who's in the market for just one instrument that can kind of do it all, or you just want the one guitar to take to your gig and have a lot of tonal possibilities with that one instrument, I think this might be your choice. If you're somebody who plays a lot of acoustic stuff, pop music, like I said, some retro 80s, 70s type of things, classic rock, even a little bit of hard rock, you can definitely get by with this one guitar. PRS has definitely convinced me that, you know, maybe I should expand my horizons. Maybe it's not all just about the heavy stuff all the time. When you want some nice crispy cleans and you want to sound like you've got an acoustic guitar without having to lug one along, you know, to the gig, this is a great way to go. So once more, this is the PRS SE Custom 24 semi-hollow piezo. Say that 5 times fast. It's been a pleasure to check this one out for you guys. Let me know down below if you guys like PRS, if you like this particular guitar as well. And even if you don't, let me know what your thoughts are on it. I really want to hear from you guys. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. And until next time, guys, I'm out of here. See ya!